4:49, we're starting the meeting. Everybody's seen the agenda. Do we have any changes, additions, etc. to it? Are you happy with the agenda, Star?
I am.
And nobody else has any comments? I expect this meeting will be brief today because of what's been going on the past month. There's not really a lot of activity.
I did want to make the announcement.
We will give that a second. There is no public here, so we'll skip over the public comments. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes of Tuesday, July 9th? And if so, do they have any changes or comments on those minutes, or are they approved as provided? The motion?
I'll move that. Second.
Okay,
Who moved? I didn't see.
Margaret.
Margaret. Next up, I will let Star go ahead and make her announcement.
So it is with much sadness for us, but happiness for everyone else that I have to report that Chloe is relocating to the West Coast. And so she will be leaving at the end of this month. Now, and she is a remarkable, remarkable teen librarian, best I've ever worked with. That would be a real loss.
And if you didn't catch that, that was part of the director's report, the announcements at top. Just to note that. That's a fortunate start. If we can talk further along in the meeting about, the next steps in that process.
Right.
She's leaving at the end of the month.
Yes.
End of August. We're in August.
Where's she going?
Oregon.
Friends of the library, there's no update. Circa, you're scheduled to attend the next meeting on August 21st.
I will be there.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move on to John. I know the Finance Committee did not have a formal meeting. John can go ahead and do his little presentation from afar.
Hi, everybody. So I know I told you all I would be in person for this last meeting, but that turned out to be a lie. So not an intentional one. So maybe it's not a lie. But I'm in North Carolina now. I couldn't find a way around getting down here sooner than this meeting happened. But the Finance Committee. So I'll just reiterate. I will continue to be treasurer until and unless someone wants to come take those duties over. And towards that end, I've been putting as much effort as I have spare into fleshing out a sort of standard operating procedure kind of document, outlining what the treasurer duties are and sort of the cadence, the monthly cadence of time and time commitment of those activities. I told the committee that I would have that to them before I left, but I lied about that too. The iron law of
We love liars. We are so fond of liars.
I mean, at least I'm honest about being a liar.
Nice to have our money with the lie.
Okay. But they, that we're going to workshop that internally, that document, and it's the kind of thing it's going to be, pretty much mumbo jumbo, technical mumbo jumbo that only will be useful for the person who's actually doing the treasuring. But it will be valuable for that person. I mean, including me, for as long as I continue to do it, to have this all written down in a unequivocal document is nice, even if you know what you're doing. Okay. So the only thing I've shared, so we did sort of informally meet as a committee, but I'm not gonna report on that because it wasn't a warrant. It wasn't official. What I've shared with you for tonight was our first our first financial report of the year for July 2024. You'll see you saw the ones that come from the town, which I'm going to argue we should just stop getting those because it should be all the same information, give or take a handful of dollars because of the way the town does its accounting compared to ours. I am in no position to explain how the town does it to the dollar. And so given that it's all the same information, at least as it accumulated over the fiscal year, I think it'd just be better to have one report, and that would be the one I added to the pile here today, the budget versus actual. So what this is essentially showing is our new budget with so far nothing showing up as spent, which is not literally true. Anna Monders, the clerk position, staff clerk position is waiting to pay out a big check that would basically cover all of our July expenses, but that doesn't show up in this report. So essentially what you're looking at is grand total budget that we have to work with, inclusive of rollovers from last fiscal year, which continued to be significant on the order of 150,000. So this is an ongoing, still an ongoing pattern of rollovers that just don't rollovers of about 150,000, that amount that's just continuing to roll over and not be spent. So you have the total on the report of around 247,000. That's got 150,000 from all past fiscal years baked into it. What is new structurally in this report is, I think, just one thing, which is under board approved projects, BR15, there's a new sub account that we're using to track the auction sales revenue. So you'll see that that's 19,000 and change that we've earned from selling off all of that, all the loud and other art collection, which is pretty.
Wow.
That's more than I thought we would ever get. And there's still a little bit trickling in. You can see Anna did not get the memo. She put that negative $157. That was a check from the auctions. She put it in the fine arts line, but it's exactly why I created that sub account, so we could isolate it, isolate the revenue that eventually we will need to get Attorney General clearance from, in order to, I guess, detach it from the loud fund. But Finance Committee has not taken up that issue in a bit. It's been several months since we've had that discussion. We're also, have backburnered the sort of policy revisions that have been in the works for a while. So any other Finance Committee contributions are more than welcome. My brain is very full and very empty all at the same time. So
I'm gonna say the same thing, John. My brain is overtaxed right now.
yeah.
I don't think we have to get any permissions to use the money that's coming from the auction. It is just the loud fund balance itself. And Star is shaking her head, yes, she agrees. So the auction money itself, where we can use that to, in theory, we wanted to use that more to help with the current existing arts enhancement for the library. So it could be reallocated to something else if we so decided to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to add to John's comments other than that.
No, that
Um,
was very succinct.
thank you very much, John. I hope you get
Nothing.
some sleep soon.
I'll have to drop by 6, by the way. So
Are those all little to-do notes behind you?
this is a fake. Well, it's an old painted over fire mantle place that's
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, no.
All
I
right.
don't have the serial killer tracker wall board all mapped out quite yet. It's coming.
All right.
Thank you for sharing.
All right.
Karen, would you like to talk about the building, skipping over technology? I apologize. Number one, Leo's out of state right now, and I believe they did not need to.
Right.
So moving on to buildings and grounds, Karen,
Yeah, I don't have the notes in front of me. I meant to bring them and did not.
remember to speak up.
Oh, sorry. I meant to bring a hard copy of the notes and forgot, and I don't have them in front of me. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look at them. Obviously, still waiting. It's now August. Still waiting to hear on the grant. Hoping that no news means potentially good news. And that we're gonna hear sometime soon. We did, we had a very lively and productive meeting with Robin. About the ideas she's got for interior work. I was hoping that I'd be able to say to Leo, she has some ideas for signage. That we might be able to move forward on whether or not we get the full amount of the grant. I'm not sure if we're gonna be on hold a bit with Robin, is it public information?
I think it, Robin's husband died suddenly. Yeah.
Were you able to hear that?
Yeah. So, I think it's gonna be some time before she can help us.
Yeah,
She's got her hands full.
I want to give her the space for that. Yeah, very, very sad. 58 years old. So, I have been waiting, hopefully for a public obituary, which hasn't come out yet. But at this point, I'm gonna email her, just reach out to her personally and encourage her to take whatever space she needs. But, as always, she's got some great ideas. I happened to run into her with Dave at the marina last Sunday, and she was very excited because she's got some ideas for the stairwell. So, the stairwell, so, when she is able to circle back and feeling up to working with it. Another reason that I'm very much hoping that the grant comes through, that she is so excited about working on that. So, but in any case, we're supposed to be meeting, normally would be meeting this Friday. We postponed it to next Friday. At this point, I'm not sure whether it will make sense to meet. We can check in during the meeting. And, any questions?
I think as far as meeting next Friday, there should also be the guiding points in that,
Right.
whether they need.
If we have some news.
Exactly. Thank you then. Anybody have any questions for Karen? Well, once again, the thrilling, very active strategic planning committee. Not able to meet. We are gonna pass on that one. I do apologize to everybody. Kate, let me know. Department reports, and I failed welcoming. I apologize so much. I was thinking, I said, I always try to welcome people at the beginning. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm very glad you're attending the meeting today. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. I didn't feel unwell.
Shall we start the department reports then? You wanna start or just start?
I just want to say Amanda has done a fabulous job, which she will tell you all about. herself. Thank you, and thank you for getting us the captions as well. So I'm so glad you're here. So why don't you talk about what you've been up to?
Well, we're in the midst of a very successful summer reading program. I don't know if anyone, if you've all seen the summer reading challenge card. So we've given out about 350 of the challenge cards,
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
which I think is a really big success.
Yeah.
They're not due until September 3rd, but we've already received 17 back. And it's really encouraging people to read, listen, use the library's resources in ways that they might not normally do. We also have these buttons from the new button maker. So if you win the challenge, you can get a button.
Circle's a winner. I'm a winner.
We also have had a lot of interactive programming and displays downstairs related to the adventure theme and things that are going on in the world that people are really excited about. We have the monthly craft. Right now it's a nature collage, so you can go down and see all the different collages people have made. We've been taking pictures of them. We also have a community puzzle, and the friends have given us money to purchase more puzzles, so people are really interacting downstairs, hanging out. An unexpected benefit of it is that kids are drawn to it, so adults who have children with them downstairs are actually getting more browsing in while their kids are playing with the puzzle or the nature collage or the sticker puzzle that's up right now.
So they have kind of the puzzles of different age categories that are down there?
We just put out different puzzles of different abilities, you know, for different ages. Some are difficult, some are easy. So it's kind of a variety.
Awesome.
We've got a lot of exciting events coming up downstairs. As part of the summer reading program, we're doing a series of 2 nature journaling workshops. And the first is to make your own nature journal, and we're having a master bookmaker from Guilford come and do a workshop. It's going to be very well attended. It's already fully subscribed with 15 participants who have registered. And then Patty Smith from Bonnie Vale is going to come and do a nature journaling workshop about the art of nature journaling. And we've got a lot of interest in that as well.
Could you, if you're exceeding the enrollments, it sounds like, could you hold second workshops? Say 2 or 3 months down the line for those people that are on maybe a wait list?
Maybe, she's trying to retire and she's doing this workshop as a personal favor to us. So I don't know if she would be willing to do it again, but I do think we're gonna start doing more interactive workshops that people can sign up for.
Awesome.
We have this dragonfly exhibit that's downstairs right now. This artist has been going from library to library. She does non-toxic Japanese printmaking. And these are based on a residency she did at the Weatherhead Hollow Pond in Guilford. And she's coming to do an artist talk in September. So yeah, there's a lot happening downstairs.
Yeah.
We've also set up the whiteboard, and we're now having questions that people can contribute to. That has actually only been up for a week, but the board was filled with suggestions already. We've also got,
Are they positive? I have to ask.
yes, well, the question this week was, what would you add to the New York Times list of the best books of the 21st century? They were all book suggestions.
Good luck.
I thought that was an awesome idea when I saw it out there.
We have 2 new museum passes. The Living Memorial Park pool. So we've been able to get people access to swim at the pool this summer who might not otherwise be able to go. And the Emily Dickinson Museum. The volunteer program is doing really well. We've got 24 volunteers
Wow.
for just the adult population. Doing shelving, cleaning, running the tool shed. We've started a new book delivery service, really any library item. So anyone who can't get here for some reason, either they have a long illness or disability, or maybe even a teen who doesn't have transportation to the library, someone who's in their life and, just can't get here temporarily. We have 4 patrons on the list. We've been doing a couple deliveries a week since July when the program started. Things have just been really busy at the circulation desk.
Go ahead, Joyce, I see you want to say something.
I mean, I started the list and there's so much. This is fantastic. I mean, you're amazing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That's all. I'm totally impressed over here.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say the circulation desk is just so busy, we've got patrons, they have really complex needs, they're really excited about researching a topic, they need help with the computer, the printer, just running around all the time, helping the people of Brattleboro and preserving the meeting rooms and, it's just really vibrant in the library right now. And it's been a great summer with the summer reading program and all the parents and kids that have been in the library.
Anybody have any questions for me? I'm gonna say thank you for all you're doing. I mean, this sounds amazing. I didn't know, I'm glad you came because I didn't know that we had some of these programs out there, like delivering books to people. So, thank you for sharing everything with us. Thank you for all you're doing. Library.
So with your volunteers, is those 24 enough or do you need more? Or?
Right now, we're kind of at capacity with the shelving volunteers, because there are many other projects volunteers could do if we had the time to set them up and supervise them.
Yeah, exactly.
The great thing about shelving volunteers is I can train them how to shelve and then they can come and go without any supervision. They can ask questions, but special projects would require more work. So we're kind of at capacity with shelving volunteers. However, if there was a volunteer with a special ability like photography or legal advice or something like that, then we definitely consider that as well.
Bookmaking.
Bookmaking, or someone wants to volunteer to lead a workshop.
Okay. Well, thank you again so much. Sir, do you wanna talk about, do you wanna talk about next steps? Well, first of all, my note was the outreach, the status of the outreach position.
So I met with HR today and they are going to make the formal job, offer to one of our finalists.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
When do you think that finalist, or even if they, or a finalist, anybody who accepts the job offer, when do you anticipate they would begin?
it's September 5th, which is the day after. That's the. When I was here. So, that would be the start.
Awesome. Okay. Sounds good. And Chloe, is there?
We are revising the job description and then we'll, HR, everything goes through the town HR department. So they'll put out the ad and then, I'll post it in some library specific listservs.
And that will require special,
It doesn't require a special degree.
that requires special degree?
It does not. Chloe has from their masters in library science, but it isn't a requirement.
Okay, so that will be posted next week or so.
And so,
Next, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk any more about your director's report, or do you want to
does
on
anybody have any
to
questions?
social work? Do you have any, does anybody have any questions for Star? It's a quiet group today.
It is.
Oh, Leah would love this meeting, 5:15.
Very thorough.
Social work and safety assistance update.
Okay. I just got the agenda this morning for the next select board meeting, and as I anticipated, they will be hearing about safety and the situation downtown at that meeting. So the select board will be receiving a report from Norma, police chief, and talking about what her plans are for the future of security in this general area and downtown. And she's going to be presenting a plan that is the 20th. I spoke with John Potter this afternoon to let him know that the board and the friends and the staff are all heavily invested in having a safe and secure place at the library. So that we would be at the meeting. And so basically the best thing is to go, if you are inclined and have the time to, yes, Kate, I know what we did. You can attend on Zoom, right, Kate? And they're very good at calling on people who raise their hand on Zoom. And so if you were to attend, if staff attends, it does need to be on their own time and not on work time. But you should go and just say what a positive thing it has been to have a security presence here in the library. That has made a real difference, not just for the staff, but for the public that uses the library, particularly at closing time, but really anytime, day or night.
Start again, date and time.
A week from today, the 20th, the select board, Kate, that starts at 6:15, but it's not on the agenda till later, so probably closer to 7, I'm guessing.
And if we will share the select board Zoom meeting invite or whatever, I think we can share that with everybody
Absolutely.
next week.
Uh-huh.
Kate, would you mind sending everybody the link for the select board meeting next Tuesday, or?
Yeah, I
would
can do
be-
that. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think, if I can make a quick comment about it, I don't think there's gonna be any, they're not gonna take it away from the library. But I do think it's really good for us to go, whoever can, and if you can't go, send them an email, just so that there's this, positive reinforcement about
That's
the
the idea.
library.
You
Yeah,
send
we're
the
gonna try
select
to
board
go
an
in
email,
person.
Yeah,
including John Potter on that email, correct?
yeah, I would do the 5 select board members and John Potter. I mean, again, there's no way they're gonna take it away from the library, because it means they take it away from the municipal center and the Gibson Aiken Center, and but we should like show a force in a positive way.
Right.
Show of appreciation, if nothing else.
Yes, that's the way to say it.
And I think at this past week's select board meeting, or, yeah, it's past one. I know in the very beginning, somebody from the Friends of the Library stood up and made quite an appeal. And just I think she said more, but my memory is foggy here, but how unsafe things tend to be, and, that's critical that we do have a safe environment. Were you there, Kate? Is that how it was said?
Yeah, and the thing is, the whole meeting was people getting up saying how unsafe they feel in downtown Brattleboro. So there was nobody got up and said, oh, so it was the whole theme of the meeting. So what she said was perfect in the whole scheme of people don't feel safe in the library either. So she was really good. Whoever she was really good.
I didn't catch the beginning of the meeting, so I don't know. Who that
And I
was.
didn't recognize her as any of the Friends meetings, but names and faces are not my strength.
So I do encourage anybody, and Kate, thank you for remembering to suggest an email because they really do appreciate that and they really do pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And there are,
Yeah, and sometimes it's better because by the time they hear from 50 people at the select board meeting, they sometimes go, okay, we've heard from enough. So you don't get to get your time to say something if you want to.
and Karen, you're really good at those emails too, so
Yeah.
can you share your email with me a little bit?
Yeah, I'll write something and distribute it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Joyce.
Is there concern that the town, doesn't, that the town's not gonna back this?
No, I think, I don't know, Star, there's no way they can stop this, in my humble opinion. And maybe Star has other thoughts from on the inside, but they get killed from the outside. And I don't know what, Star may be hearing some scuttlebutt, but
And no, I think people recognize the need for us to have security. Absolutely. So I don't expect to have a lot of opposition to our appreciation for that
Well,
security.
also, my personal conversations with a couple of the select board members has been that they're in agreement with both certainly the library, but also the need for a watch on Main Street. So it doesn't sound like, I mean, as much as I think it's important, even though I can't get myself in person to the meeting, it also sounds as though our select board is on this.
Yeah, I think there's a real recognition for
Yeah,
safe areas and the library being one of those.
yeah. And the concerns of downtown merchants and downtown walkers. So, okay, I just wanted to, I guess that was a little bit of my own reality check.
And so I think I will just scooch down and snag that piece from new business about the library ordinance discussion. And I sent a link. Fletcher Free Library in Burlington has its own library ordinance and it's been in place for some time. So I know that there is work on an ordinance in Brattleboro that would be around safety zones and around prohibiting behaviors and having consequences for them in certain areas. And rather than having a separate library ordinance, my understanding is that the library would be one of those places. And so I haven't seen a draft of this ordinance so far. I have spoken to the assistant director at Fletcher Free. I haven't been able to connect with the director. And she said that their library ordinance, as I said, has been in the works or it's been established for some time. And it does have behaviors that ratchet up. So if you commit a level C infraction, like falling asleep, which that's not against our policy, actually, that once you hit 3 of those in a day, you have to leave for the day. And then if you hit another 3 the next day, then you're out for more. So you can see how that it's all spelled out in their ordinance at this point. And she did indicate that they tend to, be compassionate approach to enforcing it, but the steps are there if they need to ask someone to leave. So I do encourage you to take a look and see what they have in place. I don't think ours would be as structured as that.
Okay. Any questions on social and safety assistance? Start, you want to move on to the Unsung Heroes Award? Is that something I'm gonna say that? There was a write-up in the comments. I hope you all took the opportunity to read the write-up. I thought it was fabulous myself. I know Jean wrote and said she saw holes in it, so to speak, but I thought it was a fabulous write-up. And made us, I don't know, made me very proud to be on this board. Help serve this library. Everything everybody does.
Yeah, I would agree. I had posted something on the Facebook page that if anything, it really understated. I think there's been a lot in the local press, and I think anyone who's really interested probably has a pretty good idea of what library staff have been dealing with in this past couple of years. But if this was your first introduction to it, it significantly understated the level of stress and risk and difficulty that people have been dealing with. So I'm glad that there have been other opportunities for people to learn.
So, and part of then all that risk and stress is also the positive impact. I think that's.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I've gotten a few emails myself saying, you could have substituted any number of libraries and staff members for that article, and like the things that I agree.
Yeah.
All right, and, okay. So the other thing we had talked about was, just saying that there's going to be a celebration in September. And we had sort of talked about that in the strategic planning committee, and I will address that then further on down here in welcoming week. Because it might be something we can fold into that.
Okay. So we'll move on to guardianship of Brattleboro Words Trail.
Yeah.
So Kate missed last meeting. Star, would you just kind of give a really brief summary to Kate so she?
I know all about this.
Okay.
I can save Star because Lissa Wyman met with me before she actually met with you. This is like sometimes last year she pitched this. So I think I'm up to speed unless I miss something.
Well, it's ownership of the whatever.
It's the Brattleboro Words Mirror.
Yeah, I have some strong feelings about it.
They're positive feelings, I believe, looking at that smile on your face.
Oh dear. Well, I don't know, Kate, whether, that she does have $10,000 in escrow for anything that happens to it. And we are able to insure it through passing. So that's good. So, and she's taking care of all the design and installation. She's met with someone just today to talk about the lighting of it and everything like that.
But I'm very interested in hearing what you got to say, because the entire time she was doing her pitch, I was thinking, what's the catch? There's got to be a downside for us, or some risk for us. And, people were asking her, I think, pretty assertively, is there anything more we need to know about what the implications are? And nothing was forthcoming. So I'm very interested in what you've got to say.
So we did not vote because you and Leo were out. And do you know what she wants from us before you make your comments? Do you understand what she wants? So she wants us to write a letter saying that the library. Go ahead.
And actually, I've been in email correspondence with her, and I got an email this morning saying she doesn't actually need a letter. We'll need to sign a contract with Amtrak several months down the road. So again, we don't need to decide anything today.
And the contract will say, we don't know what the contract will say at this point.
We don't know.
Okay, go ahead, Kate. You're
And we're being recorded.
Yeah, I know. I got to remember that. Thanks, Star, for reminding me. I have the same concerns that Karen has. I think, to me, it sounds really great now. We'll give you guys $10,000 to take care of this thing. It's not going to be that simple. you know, and it's gonna be if something goes wrong, does the library staff actually have the capacity and the time to take care of this thing? And it makes me a little bit nervous that there's no one else that says, yes, we want to take care of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's come to us because there are other people along the way that have said no. And there's reasons to say no because we're got to do upkeep on something that's down at, you know, Amtrak. Is someone from the library going to go down every day and look at it? And what if something bad happens? I just see like for the next year, it might seem like, oh, that's a great idea. But if we're taking this on, like for the rest of existence, I would just caution us to really, really think about what the implications of that are. For the library staff, for the library, just the hassle factor that you actually have to maintain something. And $10,000 might seem great right now, but
And it's not in the library, it's half a
Right.
mile away.
Yeah.
But
That's right.
it's a sign. It's
Uh,
a sign on the wall or behind glass. So I'm just going, how much maintenance and stuff, I mean, if something happens like it's vandalized, well, then that's, you know, that's where insurance and stuff comes in. But if it's something that's hung up on the wall as a, you know, the starting point of the words, I just, like, it's hard for me to imagine that it's like a thing that's gonna attract some sort of negative juju. I think it's a thing that's gonna be on the wall down at the Amtrak station and, you know, 85, 98% of the people are gonna walk by it and not know what it is, but the people who are hooked into the words trail, which is pretty great, and is actually, you know, the subset of a project of an organization that's based in Middlebury, so I could understand why they didn't want to take on an object in Brattleboro, being in Middlebury. It very much seemed to me like a logical connection. And to me, it just seems like if something happens to it, it's insured. And you know how you'll find out about that is someone at the Amtrak is gonna call up and say, hey, library, this thing, you know, something happened to this thing. But I just don't think it's gonna be a daily, weekly, monthly issue. I think it's gonna be hung up. You're gonna have a ribbon cutting. Everybody's gonna go, yeah, and then it's just gonna be a thing, a piece of public art like the Wells Fountain or the murals or, you know, the paintings on the wall up on, you know, it's just gonna be another one of those things that makes Brattleboro a cool town. And I think you're worrying way too much about it. That's all.
And to Kate's, thoughts, I could see honestly somebody with spray paint going down and spray painting it on Wednesday, somebody cleaning it up on Thursday. Monday, spray paint again. So, I mean, I think that's part of the worry, the thought process. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
So I think my understanding is there will be security cameras there for, you know, whatever that's worth. I think the reason it came to us is, like you said, the Folk Life Center is in Middlebury, so they couldn't be custodians here. And because Brooks was an early partner in the Words Project, I think, and Lissa has always felt, and rightfully so, that, you know, it's about words and books, and so it should be, you know, the library should be involved. So I think that's why she brought it to us, to be the custodians of it. So, but this is, let's do this. Let's invite Lissa back. Let's invite Lissa back to the next meeting and pose these questions to her.
Can I ask you a question, Star? And I asked this to Lissa, and obviously the library owns things that aren't necessarily owned by the town of Brattleboro. Because I said to Lissa, are you giving this to the library or are you giving this to the town of Brattleboro, which are two different things? Do you know what I mean? And she hadn't thought that through when I was talking to her, but I'm assuming she is talking about giving it to the library and having the town of Brattleboro as a municipal government not involved in this at all. Is that what that was?
No, because she's met with John Potter
Mhm.
and I verified with Patrick that the town would insure it. So it
It
would
has to be owned by the town.
yeah. So,
So it's really the town, but our people, like Public Works wouldn't go down and fix it. It would be the responsibility of the library to figure out how it gets fixed.
It's a good thought.
that's a good question.
Mm.
Let me check that. Let me check with John Potter and see, how involved they could be.
Yeah, because to me, that was sort of like, well, why is the library having to deal with this? And I say this kind of thing as having worked at the Chamber of Commerce, and that wall in Plenty Park is the Chamber's wall. And there used to be that beautiful Brattleboro mural, but it's harder to take care of than you think it is. You got to maintain stuff, and stuff happens that you don't think. And that's why eventually the wall was just painted over. I mean, I'm just looking long-term on this whole thing.
No,
That-
I really appreciate your input on this. I really appreciate your thought on this. So I think those are good questions that, it would be great to have answered.
And I
before
don't
we-
want it to become a burden on the library staff having to go down there with a squeegee when you guys are dealing with so many other things.
Volunteers.
You know what I mean?
Volunteers.
But I mean, I guess my question, Kate, it sounds like you have worries and concerns that the maintenance is gonna be burdensome. Like, we're gonna go down with a squeegee.
But I
So-
think they're long-term. There's only so long that something's going to be relevant. Like to me, what if the words project adds stuff to it? That thing is all of a sudden irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, do we want to get involved in this thing that's all of a sudden irrelevant? And
But if they added more stuff, that would be another agreement. I don't understand that they would add more stuff to what?
if the words trail adds like a new stop to it, or a couple more stops to it, all of a sudden that thing is not accurate because there are new stops on the word trail.
But folks that listen to Lissa, didn't she say that in that event, that's the folk life responsibility? Because they're the managers of the word trail. We're just, my understanding, and I'm asking for clarity here, is that we were gonna be responsible for the mural. And not if there's changes to the word trail and that has to be changed. That sounds like that's the folk life's response.
And it was designed to add elements.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought she also said that.
Hold
Star,
on,
if you folks start as a staff want to do it, I'll support you guys. I just see this as, and maybe again, it was because I was dealing with that wall in Plenty Park. You think something is easier.
Well, that's fair, but
I mean,
But
I was
Kate-
I was getting rid of vandalism on that wall. So I'm like maybe projecting something that I have seen as a nightmare.
I'm
but
gonna look back.
ours doesn't have that kind of exposure. The mural, again, is behind, I don't even think it's behind glass. It's behind, I thought she said plexiglass. So it's not even behind glass. So that environmental, social destruction or erosion that happens naturally and unnaturally is less for something like that because it is encased. And the worst is we need to, I imagine plexiglass gets kind of cloudy over time and we have to put a new piece of plexiglass on top.
Yeah, scratch, it can get scratched.
I think you
Yes,
should
I-
assume it will be vandalized if you're going to be,
But again, it's insured, so that's not really, that isn't ours. That's not, right?
Right, yes,
No.
it is insured, however, Kate makes a good point that, somebody here would have to
Deal with it.
oversee that.
Yeah, deal with it.
And there would probably be a deductible.
Yeah.
So Margaret. you
No,
wanted
I
to
just,
say something?
you know what, I don't have anything useful to add to this conversation.
I guess I'm interested to see the actual contract, which would, I assume, spell out what
Yeah.
exactly they're asking us to do, to commit to. And then at that point, we can decide whether that's something we want to commit to.
Okay,
And I'm gonna say, think of 30 years from now. I probably won't be around myself. I don't know how many the rest of us will be, but what that generation will have to commit to. This is not short-term project, this is long-term. So, to what Kate's saying,
no.
And
that's
if-
points.
what happens if the Brattleboro words people, something changes in that? All this continues, I mean, we're gonna be responsible for. The library will be responsible for removing it, so it's just,
Let's see the contract, let's see
Yeah.
if they're actually, hopefully they'll have thought all of these things through. And have a clear idea of what they're asking us to commit to, and then we can decide whether that suits us or not.
can we bring it back in October versus September, maybe?
Yeah, I can check that. Okay,
Just see,
yeah,
September, I'm feeling might be busy. With the welcoming week event, that planning.
all right. Okay.
Somebody passed me a cookie. Thank you.
Stars only.
Yes. All right,
So moving on to the authorization of late opening August 16th.
okay. Just
Okay.
in October, okay. Okay, so, we had, last year, let me start again. Every year, the town of Brattleboro throws a picnic for its employees. And so the picnic runs from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And the employees go to the Kiwanis Shelter in Living Memorial Park for a lovely picnic. And last year, we had, Lindsay had the brilliant idea of, could we just not open for that hour between 10 and 11?
Good idea.
Excellent idea. And a whole lot in that time, and we don't have to then clear the building, and explain to everybody why we're kicking them out at 11 o'clock. So the board just needs to authorize us to do that again this coming Friday.
It's already on the door.
I know.
So I think it's fine, yeah.
Oh, do it.
All right, and then, okay, did you have something else?
No, it was looking like the weather's gonna be okay that day, I just
Okay.
been checking, because
Okay.
there's rain each side, I'm saying Saturday, but.
Oh, good.
Mom's
Got that
driving
one?
season.
Oh, golly. Okay, so, and every year we also host a sleepover event for the teen advisory group. And these are the teens that help Chloe through the entire year, help with book selection and programming and publicizing and just spreading good information about the library. And so they have a teen sleepover here once a year, which they would like to hold this Saturday. I'm hoping that's going to be okay with everybody.
Yep.
It's a small group. It's a small closed group. The public is invited. So
And it'll be Chloe's last,
yes, and it will be a nice send off. So I think we do need votes on this.
I think we
So-
got it.
That by acclamation, good. I like it. I like it.
can we put them as one, or should we vote separately?
Oh, Margaret says it was by acclamation.
I think everybody nodded, right? I mean, that's not Robert's rules, but I think
Okay.
there was, everybody nodded about both those things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unanimous.
We don't,
All right.
so approved,
Alright.
as is.
All right.
Authorized.
All right, good. Thank you for being authorities. All right, so late last week, I met with Seth and Alex from the ECDC, who handles, who welcomes all of the new Vermonters from asylum seeker, the refugee project. And welcoming week takes place in September in libraries around the country. And they would like to do something here on September 26th, which is a Thursday, because I explained it works better if we have folks come in after hours. If we're going to show them around and talk to them and have interpreters about what we do. So we would like to have that welcoming week event from 6 to 7 in September. But it dawned on me, and again, this is all just happening. I just met with them late last week. It dawned on me that this might be a time that the strategic planning committee might want to have the welcoming event that you were talking about, to have an open house. So we could have an open house then from 7 to 8:30, whenever, at 7. Where we invite the general public to come in and mingle with all these folks. Just had an introduction to the library. I'm going to be asking the Friends if the Friends could fund some of these people to actually cater some snacks for people, and we could have like a meet and greet in this room. It would be close enough that there could be activities in the children's room.
Nice.
And, have a nice open house for the public and a celebration of us being so compassionate.
I'm very sad. I'm at a point finally where I could actually physically participate and enjoy that. But I'm going to be in Oregon. I'm coming back the next day, so I'm not going to be around.
With the compassionate thing, would that be like somebody's gonna come present a plaque that we're
Yeah,
like, we're
Yeah.
gonna invite those folks to come back and do their thing?
yeah.
Okay,
And then we can take care of all that.
yeah,
And get that celebration.
So the unsung heroes would.
Yes.
yeah,
So the public is not invited from 6 to 7.
Right,
The public is invited from 7 to 8:30.
right.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, because this was, really the open house for the public was the idea of the strategic planning committee. And, we haven't had time to talk about that. So I don't know if that would be too cumbersome for people to have this event where the staff is showing new Vermonters around and then opening the doors to the public. Do you want to jam them all together or do you want to have them separate?
And this is normally the library is closed during these hours, so you would have to ask staff to come in special.
And they would get, part-timers would get extra hours.
This idea, I assume you have not had time to discuss it with the staff.
Right.
So I think maybe that should be part of the discussion, just to see, how everybody feels about that idea.
Well, absolutely. We can certainly discuss it with the staff, but if this is something that the board wants to do as part of
I agree
their
with you there.
unsung heroes, observation, celebration,
I do agree. with you.
coordination.
you're becoming the sung hero.
Um, then I felt I should bring it up.
No, you should, absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because the sooner we know, the better.
Right. And like I said, this just came to bear late last week.
Okay. Does anybody have any general thoughts about this? I know Karen's already mentioned she won't be here, but does anybody else have any just general thoughts, feedback?
I guess my general thought is 2 different groups, 2 different things, and kind of breaking them up that way seems a little odd to me. I would rather see something for the public without an hour gap when they can't be here, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or I guess you're not gonna turn them away, but they wouldn't know that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it would be publicized. Yeah, and that's completely reasonable. That's why it's one of the reasons I hadn't really open discussion of this, partly because I haven't had a chance to talk to staff about it, but also it was it was one of my reservations. Is that too clunky to have two groups together? That the nice part would be the main, you know, both groups together.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say 7 o'clock, you spoke about families and children, 7 o'clock on Thursday night might not be a good time for families. That is gonna be, they're all gonna be back at school at that.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to see the welcoming of the new Vermonters feel rushed. I'm remembering when we did that during the pandemic, the first wave of Afghan refugees who came. I was here for that, and it was absolutely lovely. The staff just, I mean, and the staff did what our staff does. They were wonderful. Created activities for the younger kids downstairs so that adults could focus on what was being presented to them. And then the families were invited to come upstairs, and I think everybody left with a library card. And the kids learned how to use the library, but I think we certainly want to accomplish that again, and I would not want to see it feel rushed.
So,
Okay, that's good
Star,
feedback. Yeah.
are you thinking also, that the part-time staff would be able to have a chance to get extra hours for both from 6 to 8:30?
Yes, yeah, even if we do two different events, we can offer the
Okay.
part-time extra hours.
That's great.
Yeah.
And even if they're on different nights, they still have that option to earn some more time. Okay.
Yes.
And so I just want to make sure that when they're called like new Vermonters, are these like people that just moved into town, or are we really saying this is a welcoming to the refugees?
This is the welcoming to the refugees. We'll have translators there that
Okay.
ECDC is bringing.
Okay. It seems to me like a little much of much.
Mhm.
I think they both sound like really lovely events, and in their own right need to have a little spaciousness about them. I also hate going to anything in which there's a time at the end, like come to my house for happy hour or cocktails from 5 to 6. At 5:45, I start thinking, I guess I gotta start leaving. So I would like a little more spaciousness.
Okay. All right.
That's my
So
vote.
that's great. So I will plan the welcoming week event with the refugee families for September 26th. And I'll leave it to the strategic planning committee to decide about the other open house, the general public open house.
Sounds good.
And, okay,
Sounds good.
good. Excellent.
Well, that ends our agenda for tonight. Does anybody have any more comments, questions, etc. that they would like to bring up?
Has everybody got their paper card?
I have a bunch of them.
Okay.
If not, we're gonna conclude the meeting at 5:54.